Today on the show, we've got Shaina, co-founder of TuMe Water. Damn good. Today was the first time we tried it. I just liked her and her story and her vibe. That's why I reached out and wanted to do the podcast with her. But had it today. It's damn good. Like us, she's a former college athlete, played at UCLA, and then played some basketball overseas. And that makes a lot of sense to how and why she grew her company and started the company. We discussed why she started the company, how she differentiates herself within the market, how she's reached out to vendors. We talk e-commerce. And how she's being flexible and evolving her brand and company. Things that do work, things that don't work. She talks about these pretty openly, and how it wasn't easy for her to understand that maybe this doesn't work. She needs to adjust and change, and she's doing that. There should be a lot you take away from this episode. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy. So the Russian thing.
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind all that? Okay. So they went over there and they were making, I think the first year they made 45K in the WNBA, and then the first year whatever overseas they're making like 100.
Right.
And then I forget which one it was, Sue or Diana. I think it was Diana.
Yep.
And then the next year she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm coming back, or I'm going to go elsewhere, probably exactly, which is common like you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they doubled it. And then the third year, it was a new owner, new team in Russia, and they said, we'll pay you like almost $500,000. And she was like, all right, I'll stay. She kept wanting to leave, and they'd keep her around. He ended up being this old Russian spy.
Wow.
Yeah. So the twists and turns in the podcast are great because it's Sue and Diana and then a host. But they talk about like how great he was, and if they would go on a trip to wherever it was, they would have like a black car and a briefcase. And like all this like really fancy stuff. And in the WNBA, she's like, at the time we would take 5 a.m. flights out, and we'd stay in the worst hotels and all that kind of stuff. You know, you're probably the same age. We're probably right around there.
Right.
And this guy was like really good dude, helped them out, anything they needed. One time he's like, here's a credit card, and let them spend whatever they want to spend. And she was like, I was going to buy a purse, and I was like, I don't know if I should buy a purse. And they did it, and they ended up buying like 20 bags or some crazy shit. Sure. It's like like a Gucci or a nice bag. Long story short, they're somewhere for a game. It's like the semifinals. They've already won 3 years in a row, the EuroLeague, or 4 years in a row. And she goes to talk to him in the room. He's not there. That's like, kind of weird. Even if he wasn't there, they'd be like, go sit in the room, and he'll be there in a second. It was kind of like his, family. He had been shot up in a car, murdered. Wow. Yeah, crazy, right? Wow. So then they always knew something was up, but they didn't know like what. I'm sure they didn't do too much research. He was really good to them, and that's what they knew. Right. And they'd always heard rumors of stuff, but they just kind of let that go. Right. And then all of a sudden one day he's gone. So it was crazy. Yeah,
I didn't know about that part. I only knew about the contract. It was a big deal that I think Diana was the first female basketball player to earn $1 million.
Oh, okay.
And it got up to $1 million.
Wow.
And that season, because for WNBA players that play overseas as well, they're playing 12 months. They're playing the whole year. Yeah. There's no break for them because the overseas season is typically 7 to 8 months, and then the WNBA season is 3 to 4. So she actually decided to take the WNBA season off that year. And it was like kind of a little bit of controversy because it's like, how are you not playing in the American League? But she had to be.
Why would you?
Yeah. Exactly. She was honest. She was like, I'm getting paid all this money and my body needs a break. So I just need to do what's best for me.
You're gonna pay me 20 times more and expect me to not.
Exactly.
Like what's minimum? We were talking about this last. We're rolling, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
On the what's the minimum WNBA contract now?
I think it's like 35,000.
Is it still? Okay. See, I felt like it was higher.
Yeah.
And how many games? Do you know, like 40?
I believe so. Okay. Yeah. I should be better, you know, just as a female athlete and one that's played basketball and have friends that played in the WNBA. Honestly, I should know more. Yeah. But that's, I guess, part of the problem, right? Yeah. The fact that it's not, the information is just not out there the same way that it is for the men.
But it is, like you mentioned Diana, it is because it was so big.
Right.
So maybe they don't talk about the minimums, but they talk about, like, we're not talking about the NFL minimum contract of whatever, $375 or something crazy.
Yeah.
But you talk about when Matthew Stafford signed some major deal or Person X. Maybe
that is true. Yeah, maybe too.
We're talking about this because you're a former college basketball player, yada yada.
Yep.
We'll do like an intro at the beginning.
Yeah, we'll give the background
after this.
The backtrail.
Backtrail intro. That's how we roll around here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, dessert before breakfast.
Right.
Or dessert before your meal.
Yes.
Dessert before your meal. I'm not mad at that.
No.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah. I haven't had dessert in a little bit of time. I'm doing this no or low sugar, low carb.
I like it.
Kind of diet. So
What made you do that?
hurting my knee, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just made it harder to do the normal workouts that I was used to, and wanted to kind of get back in shape, tone up, and just, that was the original intent for it. And then when I started it, it actually gave me so much more mental clarity and focus that I didn't realize would happen. I mean, obviously you do the science, and being in the food and bev space, a lot about it, and as an athlete, but still it doesn't click till you actually sometimes have to go through it. And yeah, I was just less irritable. There were certain times that I was like, did I take something today?
Yeah.
Because this is not bothering me. Yeah. And it was literally just because I kind of limited my sugar intake and carbs, and what that did, psychology, to my mental, to everything was just really great. So
you say it as an athlete, we're same age-ish,
right?
And we played college football.
Yeah.
But when we were taught, we weren't being taught smart things. It was like carb up for the game tomorrow. Yeah. And it was like, it didn't matter like if that was French fries, or I remember one time somebody come talk to us about post-workout, what we should be eating and stuff. And one of the suggestions was like, even if you just take a handful of M&Ms, like.
What?
I swear to you, we're in a room full of all the athletes at
I was ready
Bowling
for you
Green
to say almonds, that makes sense.
Yeah, right? If you want M&Ms, like just something to like replenish your glycogen levels. And like, I understand where she was trying to go with it, but like you're going to tell us to, like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no.
Now at 35, I know that. At 20, I was like, cool, we're going to eat M&Ms. I can do that after a workout. That's not an issue. No,
it's so true. I mean, that's part of the reason why, I started what I'm doing now, is because I should have been like the creator of Gatorade's granddaughter with how much I drank of it. It's just like they had it on fountains. Like I drank it, as opposed to having orange juice for breakfast. I drank it, at the dinner table with my dinner. I drank it instead of having water. Like literally was like, and it just seemed the same way, the concept that you said about M&Ms. Oh, you're dehydrated, or you're thirsty, or you need electrolytes. Boom, drink these sports drinks that have way too much sugar, have artificial ingredients, don't really have anything that's gonna do something good for me. I mean, I get like you need to replenish, but there's many other ways that you can replenish more naturally. And so that kind of was the reason and the thought process that was always there in wanting to create something healthier after my experience overseas, where they don't have the same type of sports drinks we have here. So especially in Germany, well, they really don't have anything. Like they mostly drink water, or they'll put magnesium in water, or some kind of, whatever your body needs more of. It'll be like something you get from the pharmacy that's like a powdered form. And they didn't have, Gatorade, Powerade, whatever else now, All Sports. They didn't have any of
throwback.
Yeah, I know, right? I know them all, trust me.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't have them there, and that I was mad at first. I was like, I'm playing for this team, this big time club, and you take care of me in every which way, but you don't have a drink sponsor? Like, what's up? And it really started to open up my eyes into why, and like the artificial ingredients. And so it's something that stayed with me when then I came back home and wanting to create a healthier version of that to just really replace something, because I'm terrible at just drinking water. So something for me selfishly, and something that had real ingredients, and that's where we landed on turmeric, which has been in my family tree. So put those two together, and I feel like we got the formula.
So how did you started at least thinking about this while you're playing overseas, and then you came back, and like walk me through that whole process.
Yeah, so like, just as I described, just wanted something else while I was out there. Like, okay, well, there has to be a better solution. I don't know how and who and when that's going to happen, but there needs to be a better one. And then when I was done playing and I came back to the States, I was working still in athletics, and I still saw it. Like, I was off of it for the past 4 or 5 years. I hadn't drank a typical sports drink throughout that whole time. So for me, I didn't want it anymore, but I still saw how it was still being taught. It was still something that everybody was going to as for even a performance standpoint. And turmeric's been in my family tree. My dad's originally from India, so I grew up on it in curry dishes. I grew up my grandmother used to make like a concoction when I sprained my ankle, when I had a bruise. It was always some like yellow paste she would put on me when I was
smelled funny.
When I was sick. My doctor would say, go home to grandma, let her, because he was familiar with Eastern medicine, and he was like, let her make some kind of, really strong curry dish or something with like all of the herbs, Ayurvedic medicine, and try that first before, I prescribe you any antibiotics. So that's what I knew as like a remedy. And so coming back to it, I was like, okay, well, Dad, I don't know how to make chicken curry yet like how you do. And I'm not going to make it every day as much as I love it. So how do I get this more in my diet? And I'm not really good at vitamins and the supplements on the market, there's a lot of great ones, but then there's a lot of ones that aren't that good. So how to choose between. So I was like, is there a way we can drink this? Like, how can I like get it in a drink? And we just kind of literally feverishly went to the kitchen and just started experimenting. My dad has he has experience, some science background. He had a restaurant before, so he had some culinary experience. So
entrepreneur
exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of just like, okay, we'll just see for ourselves even,
Yeah.
And then he realized that we were onto something, and we got connected with the food scientist that had over 16 patents in Ayurvedic medicine, and he focused mostly on using turmeric and other ingredients in the form of like supplements or more medicinal related application versus just for everybody to make an incremental difference. And together we just came up with a formulation and realized that it tasted good and it was good for you. And that's kind of how TuMe was born.
That's wild.
Like a year ago, right?
It's actually a few years ago. So, but we started about 3 years ago. The idea started 4 years ago. Okay. When we kind of were like, okay, in the kitchen, realized that maybe this can be a solution in a water. A story I don't tell, I actually haven't told really that often is is like kind of there's just so many layers to it. It's like why it really makes sense and why I'm so passionate about it is just, it's not, now turmeric is trending, right? So there's things that are coming out with it. So we're not just somebody that jumped in on the trend. This is really rooted in family history and just overall life experience and the need for it, and why I believe so strongly in it is that, so when I came back from playing overseas, I went home to my parents, stayed with them, till I figured out what I was going to do and where was the next move. And while I was there, our neighbor, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And rest in peace, she's no longer here, but she came because she found out just too late. But when she came, her doctor was telling her was like, you should really look into this ingredient, turmeric. And she had no clue. She had never heard of it before. Yeah, she had never heard of it before. She had no clue how to use it. And so she literally knocked on our door and came over and knew my dad like made curries, knew he was from India, and was like, can you help me? Like, how do I get this in my diet? How can I use it? And my dad literally went to the kitchen and cooked every single curry dish he knew that had turmeric in it. So there's like all different types of dishes where that's like the chosen ingredient because of whether for the coloring or for the flavor or whatever. So he literally made everyone that he knew, brought her over these pots. Like, so that way it was like kind of, we thought it was double purpose. Like, so now you don't got to cook, like take that load off your family and you get these good for you ingredients. And, it was unfortunate that she couldn't eat that much at that time. So she's not able to, she'd have to eat copious amounts of that food to be able to really get that ingredient into her body the way she needed it. So it really was another piece that was like, okay, we have to make this so it's easier. Someone can drink it, if you're drinking it, that's a lot easier to put it into your body than having to, sometimes you can't make these cocktails of pills. So if you can't take other pills or you don't know how to make it raw from the root, like how do you get it into your body? And so that really was kind of the driving force to really go in the direction of beverage. And how to apply this ingredient in that. So
is it absorbed differently because you drink it as opposed to like eating it and it's slower?
It really not necessarily. Okay. I mean, how it gets into your bloodstream. There are different delivery methods that you can use. Like piperin helps with absorption. So black pepper, and we use that in our turmeric extract, our formulation. Also oil based, so some kind of oil. So That also helps in like cooking. It's something that's heat tolerable, so the heat doesn't affect its efficacy.
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, just different ways, and it's an ingredient that everyone's body processes a little bit different, and there's different studies on if you can have too much or if you can't, like as far as what it's going to do for you, same as like vitamin C.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it'll just pass whatever you don't use. So
Sure.
yeah.
So who does the branding, all this stuff? Who came up with TuMe? Is this you?
Yeah, so my dad and I started it together. So since that we were kind of
since the kitchen the first day.
Yeah, since the kitchen the first day, and he has the experience. And then just like my passion through sports and wanting to bring this to a broader audience is what really pushed it forward and kind of where we are today and where we're headed, really. So
It's like how clean it is.
Yeah,
it is good.
Well, I'm glad you like it. So it's something we still are fine tuning. Like obviously you got to continue to evolve, and this is what we felt had the most information, at the same time had like a colorful appeal, and was similar to like what people knew as a sports drink. So similar enough, I should say, like from the bottle design to everything. And now we've really realized that because we hit such a broader audience that, you know, it's really for anybody that moves. This ingredient is good just to have in your diet, just to have as all day hydration, you know, just when you're thirsty and you want to get some good ingredients into you. And then from the mental aspect of things, you know, I talk a lot about it because it means a lot to me. And turmeric is good for cognitive function. Sure. So it helps with the brain. So that's good for everyone, you know, you can be drinking it. So we actually are in the process of like fine tuning to have our packaging evoke more of that messaging.
I was going to say, are you going to take off sport or like evolve to a sport and
we're actually going to take off sport.
Okay.
So it's going to be TuMe water is going to be the standing. Yeah. So more focus for the all day hydration recovery standpoint. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
I've seen you a lot. You probably don't know this, but I've seen you like there's a lot of looking back at the social. I've seen not you personally, but the brand, and a lot of people I either know or follow in the LA area.
That's awesome.
Seems like you're doing a lot of stuff like that.
Yep.
Julia Glanz, I saw on like something recently. I don't know Demi, but we've done stuff with Scott, who she's always with.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's somebody else. But so I know you're out here doing a bunch of stuff, events and being seen in product. I don't know if you're sponsoring or just you personally are being there and handing out some stuff. But how are you growing the brand? How are you getting the messaging out? And then why the certain types of events or things you're doing?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you recognizing that because that's something we take great pride in is just on relationship building. That's just the ethos of who we are and who we are being who I am, really.
Sure.
And so the two people that you mentioned are actually great brand ambassadors of us organically. So cool. We reached out to them and whether it be because we saw them at an event that we were also at or through another connection and through social, and got them some product and they loved it and supported them at different events in different ways, and they just really loved the drink and the brand and us. And so we just continued to make sure that they had product and made sure we supported them in any which way we could. So different types of partnerships, different types of collabs. Eventually the way marketing works, and I know you two are more experts than I am. I'm just kind of navigating through my brand and just from what I hear from others and some good advisors that we do have. But we haven't paid for any person to endorse our product.
Okay.
So anybody that's endorsed our product has been naturally because they like the brand, they like how it tastes, they like what it does to them, so they want to share it with their audience. Cool. Or from an athlete, they've either been a partner and wanted to get in because they liked it so much in actually the business side of things. And so they're real partners of ours. So those are the ways up till now that we've kind of collaborated and partnered with people. And a lot of it is just, me getting it to them. You know, I feel like if they're a good fit, if they resemble who we feel that we are as a brand right now, that's the people want to get it to first, because that's who others are going to see having it, like yourself, you know, how you associate those two people with, all that they do is what we want to be part of.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we're kind of navigating that stuff now. Our coffee company, we just started a year ago.
Absolutely.
So we still work with other brands and people, but this is our baby we work with. So, and we've worked with now 3 people They're all like UFC fighters. We're working currently with an NFL player.
Nice.
So it's like, all right, who's going to be a good fit for us? Who's going to help? Whose market is going to be our market? I think we've done a good job so far, but like, there's always adjustments within that. Like, all right,
Absolutely.
we thought this was going to be a little different than that was. But like finding that right fit of person, market, and then obviously like us with them vibing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a few people that we've gotten product to and they liked it, but our interest, didn't align, and that was fine too. It's good to at least get them to try it, get their feedback.
Sure.
Maybe potentially do something collaboratively down the road, or just make sure whenever they want it, they know they can contact us and we'll be sure to get them some or support them in however we can.
Yeah.
And when I say like we haven't paid for it per se, I mean that's a wrong wording, I should say, because the product is a cost, So I know people value their platform more than just $36 case, but at the same time we wanted it to be like a joint partnership. Yeah. So other ways that we can support as well, as we're always interested in doing that. So.
Yeah. So do they do affiliate stuff? Are they getting codes and kickbacks?
So we haven't tapped too much into that.
Okay.
The ones that we've worked with so far hasn't been an interest for them. So whether it be from other models not working, other companies, them not really totally enjoying that experience, them feeling like it wasn't truly organic, which is what we were trying to hit on.
Yeah.
We do want to do that, and we are going to continue using that as a way to potentially market. But for those that we've worked with before, no, it's just really about them. Just if you like it, share it. You know.
Yeah.
So
we're just getting into that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, all right, who's going to be a good fit? Who like, all right, if we're not going to pay, but we're going to do affiliate stuff. Do we have to like make sure every post is on point? And if they do something like publicly and we're like, how do we get out of that kind of deal? So we're there.
That for sure is something that we've always paid attention to. It's not, you can never nail it, but it's something, if you're aware of it, I feel like it's better, because we'll get people that are like, oh, did you get this to so and so? Oh, you should send this to so and so, or this person will be great for it. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe, but maybe not as well. So
well, what we found too, and we've talked about this on here before, is like there's a lot of athletes that are really shitty at selling product. Really shitty. And if they were anywhere near what some of the fitness people I know out here are like in selling product, they'd be millionaires off of their Instagrams, like just off that alone, because a lot of the fitness people we know are very good at explaining and why and talking about it and being authentic with it, and not just being like, hey, got this product today, shout out, thanks for sending me a package. Like, nobody gives a shit about that. That might get a person or two to be, when they're at the shelf, and like, wait, that's what so-and-so drank, let me try it. But that's not going to get you to go out and search for it. So a lot of those people are so shitty at that because they just don't, they're not good at social.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you just hit on it too, the organic nature of it. If they don't believe in it, if someone doesn't believe in it, then it's harder to convince other people.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So like you said, the people that are diehard fans of that person anything that they do, they're, looking it up, wanting to have it, whatever. But most consumers, which is who we're targeting, that would benefit from our product, are a little smarter than that. They're making choices based on what's going to be good for them, not necessarily what else someone else is projecting.
Sure.
So that makes things a little bit more difficult. It's not like the days, when big brands would literally just be like and smile with their product holding it, and that be what it was, and that developed the brand loyalty just by doing that. Now it's, what is it going to do for me? That's what everyone feels like.
Which is good. People have definitely gotten smarter.
Yeah.
Consumers.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least in that regard.
Yeah.
So how will you, I know you're going to take sport off, you'll do some other stuff. How are you changing marketing moving forward? Like besides just that part of it, is it just slapping a different label on it? Are you changing ingredients at all or anything inside of the bottle?
We do have one. So we started with, or just last year we had 5 flavors. And so we have a coconut water and we had a citrus. And so working with a couple retailers that we've partnered with, their buyers, they said that they really loved the flavor profile of our citrus, and most people did. The formulation was really good, but citrus it wasn't something that people would grab as their first choice. When you have like a pomegranate and a mango and a citrus wasn't the one people would be just grabbing off the ingredient name. So that gave us some flexibility to create a little more artisanal flavor and mess around with some other ingredients to make a cucumber lime. And also a way to incorporate ginger, which is something that we focus solely on turmeric, but we want maybe for a flavor to incorporate ginger. Sure. So that citrus allowed for us to we have 2 different formulations right now. We haven't decided on which one that we'll launch in replace of citrus that have very similar flavor profile to our citrus, but hit on that more artisanal. So that taps into the marketing of it, because it's not really so much the ingredient. It's more on like how people perceive it. Yeah. So so that's one. And then the coconut water, we noticed that it's very much a seasonal flavor for us. So in the summer, it does really well. You know, more people are tending to go towards coconut waters just in general, whether it be because of the weather or whatever their lifestyle allows for. And then in the other months, it gets a little bit more lost. You know, I hate using that word because people throw it at me all the time, but that's the only time when it really does get a little lost because coconut water's been around for now so long, and there's so many different varieties, so many different brands that people already are so loyal to. It's hard for like an emerging coconut water in general to come out, and then one that it's not its main focus. Like turmeric is our main focus. So that added ingredient doesn't always serve to our benefit in other months. So that's from a marketing standpoint, that's what we've been able to fine tune with our product lineup. And we have other products in our pipeline that I'm not quite ready to share right now. We'll have to come back for that. But so that would be, these are there to establish a presence for those to roll out into. So from a product standpoint and product release standpoint, that's where we are. From a marketing standpoint, we really want to push digital and push e-com. That's the focus for the next 18 months. So we haven't really tapped into that because it's all retailers, distributors, getting into that buying cycle, doing all the paperwork so that way we're on the calendar for, being accepted for the next one. And it takes a long time for people don't realize that process. The process. Even when buyers love us, it still ends up taking longer. We're okay. You love us, you like it. Let's go on the shelves tomorrow. Like it doesn't, it doesn't quite work like that. So, we still want to maintain great relationships with retailers. Obviously, that's still the way to go, to grab and go drink, so it can be offered in more places. That's very much a strategy for us, the channel strategy. But right now, while we're still in the growing stages and we've connected with our audience already and have built somewhat of a consumer base, I want to really push our online presence. So
how long from concept to delivery, from like, okay, we're going to change the flavor, then like testing what the flavor is and whatever you guys do in the kitchen, to launching an actual product? What's the start to finish on that?
I mean, that's a very, I feel like, personal question, in the sense of every brand, I'm sure, is completely different. We like to move fast. Sometimes that's not always to our benefit, because then everything else has to catch up to it. So the financing has to be there, the plan has to be there, the marketing support has to be there, and we're constantly innovated. That's why I said we already have like a pretty diverse product pipeline that we're just anxious for the right time to put it out there. So for us, we move pretty fast, and I think that's because that's one part. I've taken over mostly overseeing most of everything in the business, but the R&D side, I work very close with my dad, and he works with the food scientist, and that's his kind of bread and butter, and innovating the new products and fine-tuning them. So he's always his mind is always churning on that, and he's always working on it. So for us, I mean, if I had to give you a definitive time, even from bottling, not just from start to finish, I would say anywhere from 6 months, sometimes could be a year, but for us, we can do it pretty quickly. So
that's interesting. Where retail wise are you guys available?
So we got into Whole Foods at the local level and did really well. We had good traction and velocity to where we then they onboarded us to UNFI, which is one of the biggest natural product distributors. And so through that process, there's a little bit of a lag time in getting onboarded and put back on shelves. So, but we're in Whole Foods,
just
in
local?
SoCal.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, well, the reason I asked that is I wonder if I was thinking if you're elsewhere, the coconut thing would make more sense to me.
Yeah.
Because now it's not like there's a weather change in SoCal.
Right.
It's not like it's nice. We can go out. It's spring. I'm starting to get sunlight.
Yeah.
I'm feeling coconutty.
Yeah.
But it's weird that it would be in SoCal and that would still be the same thing.
Yeah, but SoCal people still have that mentality.
I know, but it's not as drastic.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you because of the weather, you would think that it wouldn't matter, but still, everything's still seasonal. Like they're putting out like winter holiday stuff now.
Yep.
So
pumpkins,
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
I just wanted to guess that
exactly.
originally.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Like to me, it's still mind-boggling, but it is what it is for us at least. So we've noticed because it wasn't like people just didn't like the flavor. A lot of people liked it because we particularly made that formulation that we use stevia leaf as our sweetener to keep the sugar low, and our coconut water didn't have any stevia. We just used the sugar naturally occurring from the coconut water. So it could be that for those that maybe did have a sensitivity to stevia, which I've learned is like about 1% of the population.
Okay.
So those that had that sensitivity, they had an option for it. So people liked it. It's just for us, it just seemed to do better in the summer. So. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, and that's like I had to take even to speak about it now. Like I'm kind of had to take an honest approach to it. Like we have to look and see what is really resonating with our audience. What can we grow with? What moves should we do? Not always am I making the best moves, but I think trying to continue to adapt and grow and pivot is important, especially at the early stages of a company.
Sure.
Totally.
And you not to be like, no, coconut's going to work.
Yeah,
you're going to like this.
Drink
it.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people just continue like throwing it on the shelves and it's not selling. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How big's the team?
And
then what are you doing? What's your specific role?
Like the day
besides everything.
Yeah, I know.
Sure.
It's difficult sometimes, as I'm sure you guys could relate. We have about 5 people that are working, all time. And then it's always a kind of interesting question for me to answer because we do so much outsourcing. We're flexible in that way, and we have to be conscious of our cash flow to be able, and there's experts out there, and especially in the space, that are able to kind of a la carte services to help us. So we do, we outsource certain marketing efforts. We outsource, obviously our distribution is handled by a company and sales team, and then internally working on everything that really the motor that drives the company is about 5 of us. For myself, I've learned, I started off having to do the development of it, having to really focus on building the business. We were able to self-fund at the beginning, but then we needed to bring on some partners and to raise some capital. So I worked on that and worked really closely with some financial advisors to kind of help me in guiding me through that. And I have a little bit of development experience. I worked at UCLA as the director of our Bruin Varsity Club, which was in charge of all our former student athletes that worked in the development office. So I did have a little bit of that fundraising experience. So to manage that and dealing with our shareholders and kind of really leading that charge is a big part of what I do. The overall marketing strategy, channel strategy, working with our advisors, looking at new retailers and meeting with the new retailers, getting product to the new retailers, also working with our community partnerships, trying to find and identify the ambassadors that would be great for our brand and meeting with them, getting to know them, getting product to them. I still do mostly a lot of our events. We do have...
See that?
Yeah. We do have a good kind of team that we can call upon that can go out and do events, but there's so many that I have such a personal relationship with the person that's putting it on that I'm like, well, why aren't I there? I could speak the most about my brand, and I want to support.
And speak the best. And
I want to support that person whose event it is. So, this is. It doesn't matter. It's a Saturday. It doesn't matter what I did before or after. Like, this is what I want to do. And
it's also kind of cool for them if you're having the event, whatever they're doing. It's definitely like to have you there and not like you just sent somebody with some bottles there.
Yeah. No. To be honest, I used to think and this just is my own personal growth. And with the brand, I used to think like, oh, that made us look bad. Like, I can't be the one that's there. We need to show where we are and what stage in our growth. So we do have these team that we've trained. They need to be the ones that go out and do the work. And then I was like, well, then I was taking a step back and I was looking at it and I was just like, but I speak the best about it. I'm the most passionate about it. And I still want to learn from that group of people that we're either sampling to or we're giving product to. Yeah. And because you get so much feedback right then and there that big companies don't get. They pay and outsource marketing companies to get and gather that data. And I'm right there and I can get it right in front of me and ask them, oh, you didn't like that flavor. Why? Or why do you like this one better? Or how this helps you because, or you hear so many stories. Yeah, I've heard about turmeric, but I just never knew how to use it. And then it's like, okay, well, this is how I can tell you the next person how to use it. So I enjoy it now. Like I really enjoy it. And I try and be, last summer I was everywhere, like literally everywhere. Obviously when I say everywhere, it's still places that align with our brand because in the beginning we were kind of worried about that too, is just anybody sent us a request. We felt like we could be there. We're there, just that's a way to get it out there. But not every audience is for you, and not every event makes sense for where you're trying to go with your brand. So we had to kind of, in some ways, tell certain people that it wasn't the right fit or our calendar was full, or just be more selective in who we reach out to for what events that we do. And we take great pride in that. I mean, we've done things with Nike. We've done things with APL, the sneaker company. We've done a lot of stuff in LA, as you said, from Crew Box, Crowd Cafe, which are out on Melrose, and different sports rehab facilities, different camps. One of our partners, Mercedes Lewis, he has a football camp that he puts on, so we'll align with him for his football camp, and just different things that make sense. The running community has absolutely embraced us. Yeah.
I saw that Koreatown Run Club.
Yeah, Koreatown Run Club. Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
Drea, I saw do something else.
Yeah.
I don't know if you go through her or whatever.
Yeah.
But I saw her posting one of things. So
yeah.
We didn't do Koreatown Run Club, did we?
Run?
No, we did. No, we did something else. But I know all those people.
Yeah,
I mean,
cool.
I've gone to like events of theirs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny like how many people.
That's wild. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I can't take all the credit for it. So my brother actually has come on to be part of the company, and he really works a lot on the community partnerships and the ambassadors. So
cool.
He's the one that kind of really scouts them, and he's the one that initially reaches out to them, and then I'll see which ones that he should stay in contact with and which ones I should then develop a relationship with and get in contact with. So like Julia's one that I right away clicked with. She played soccer at ASU. I played basketball at UCLA. So it was just kind of like, then we were doing workouts together, how we can support each other, just even at a like friendship level, growing entrepreneurs, kind of that culture, not just you're a brand ambassador for my drink, he's done a lot of that. He's helped establish a lot of those partnerships. We did something with Lululemon, which was really cool with us for their running clubs. And
they're running club. I didn't know that.
Yeah, basically through same way that Koreatown Run Club does, starting with the Nike store. They do it at one of their stores, and they do a run and kind of have some activities afterwards.
I think every brick and mortar like that should be doing shit.
Yeah.
I used to go to the Nike run clubs, and I wasn't a runner. Like I wouldn't call myself a runner, quote unquote. All these people would be training for halves or 10Ks or 5Ks, whatever it was, or marathons. And I would come on the one day when they would do like 400 runs and like speed run, what they called it. But those were fun as shit. They got 50 to 100 people inside the Nike doors. Like you're getting your market inside your doors once a week, that many people. And they probably just spent too much money because Nike always spends too much money on shit like that. Yeah. But they could have done a lot more cost efficient. Adidas did one in LA on 3rd Street Promenade one time. Not well run, but
because some people are just checking the box, right? That comes back to it. So like how you market and how, the organic nature of it.
Yeah.
Some people just want to check the box.
Like, Nike's doing something. We should do something in LA.
Well, it was really like really unorganized. This was probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. But now they've done, so one of my friends, Danielle Pacenti, who she knows Julia. She'd probably be a good person to connect you with.
Nice.
But she does like workouts. She's done a couple workouts with Adidas now. And you'll start at the store, you'll run on the beach, do a workout. And those are very well done. And it's done from an Adidas level and then also with her. But it's just like, again, you're in the store, they give you like a couple of drinks and they give you a discount on clothes and shoes and blah, blah, blah. But they get you in the store.
Right.
You know, on a day I wouldn't have gone to the store and been there.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense. And another way why, just because everyone's checking that box is why also we started to be a little bit more selective and particular and mindful on who we collaborate with and where we are and what we do, is because there's every brand then wanted to be there, you know? If we'd go to something where they invited us, they wanted us there for the hydration, and then there's 3 other drinks there. And it's like, it's a 20-minute workout. That's not really a workout because you're just putting on this event. So people aren't really that thirsty. And now you got to give them 5 options. Like, come on. Like, then people are just going to be like, forget it. I'm going to go back to what I brought in, you know? So we had to, you know, we've
pull
seen
back
that.
on that.
Yeah.
We've had people ask us for our coffee. Well, send you coffee. Yeah. And then there's 2 other coffee companies, one of the things. And I was like, all right, it was a friend. Like, all right, but we're not going to do that anymore. Yeah. Like if you want us to support, you support us. And that's cool.
Absolutely. We've taken a big stance on that. I think that's something that, you know, startups, young entrepreneurs could probably relate to, is that where you try and just get in the door and where do you like take a stand. And we are now somewhat in the position, but also just from where the direction we're going is taking more of a stand of, if there's another sports drink that's there, then we're not really interested in participating, because we're the healthier version. It's not that, you know, competition isn't necessarily a good thing even. And it's not that we feel like we're so much better than everyone, but if we're the healthier option and you have that other option there, then how it doesn't make sense even for you as your event that you're having the split decision. You know, it's like, yeah, go ahead and be unhealthy and go ahead and be healthy. Like what? Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't speak to that same message. So that's kind of like where we are. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. How do you go about navigating the space, at least like as you have been as a sports drink competitor to these multi-billion-dollar companies and saying, hey, we're better in the fact that like what's going in here and going in your body is better for you physically, but they've got these multi-million-dollar campaigns and multi-million-dollar partnerships with major athletes. And leagues, UFC, Gatorade has the whole G League and their NBA.
Yeah, they have everything. Yeah. In that way, we're thankful for other brands that have emerged. So Body Armor, for example, they definitely knocked on the door and made people aware that could be something else out there for them, and there could be a healthier option, whatever it may look like.
I like their whole Gatorade. We'll take it from here.
We'll take it from here.
Yeah, exactly. And so they were able to spend on that. They have some really big athletes behind them, Kobe Bryant being one of them. So that helped in making people, yes, it did things for them and made them almost at the same level as some of those other drinks now, but it also opened the door wide open for brands like ours that, okay, there are other options out there. So maybe I should look on the shelves a little bit more to see what else is here, or maybe I should look into what is for my need. So that's one thing that we're thankful of in the timing of things. Also from an ingredient standpoint, like that's one thing where we're very different, is that we have turmeric as our main ingredient. Yeah. So we're not trying to advocate of being more electrolytes than, or just less sugar than, you know, there's another piece to it of why we are so different. Yeah. So,
but there's teaching to that.
Yeah.
Like, well, why is, 13-year-old me, you come to me and be like, turmeric, like, whatever. Yeah. Like there's teaching to that.
Absolutely. So that's part of why, we've been, systematic and strategic with our growth, and now are in a position where we really are able to kind of pump more into it to take it to the next level, is because there was a large part of that education. So the past couple of years, it's been all education. So really, I mean, telling people when just even a couple of years ago, or even last year, or even still now, people are like, what is turmeric? So having to educate them on that, then that's another thing we're happy about, is just the general conversation around other natural ingredients, turmeric being one of them. It's in most magazines now. It's been on most talk shows. Most doctors are talking about it, fitness people. So everyone's kind of like bringing up this word that now people are like, okay, well, I do know it does something for me. So that's a part. And then the sugar is something that's a draw still for like that 13-year-old, like you said. Their mom doesn't want them to have as much sugar. So we're low in sugar. So that'll be something that they'll grab. Mm-hmm. But it's a constant. And that's another reason too why we decided that we're really for a broader audience. Mm-hmm. It's not just for sport, because this is so good for everybody and good from a hydration standpoint that we don't only have to go against these big now, sports drinks. Yeah.
That's what I meant kind of in the past. But so now moving forward, where you're at in the shelves, are you going to ask for a different spot in the shelves? Like, where are you at right now? If I go...
Well, the landscape is changing too, which is really interesting. And it's changing all over the place really fast. Like, I was just at a large grocery store this morning, and they have a what's new section, a cooler that's what's
that makes
new.
Sense.
Yeah, and they have a kombucha in there. They have a water, just a plain water company in there. They have like a cold brew. They have all different mixed up type of drinks, but in this what's new section. Or there's a live healthy section or an organic section. So
that's cool.
For us to kind of like pinpoint and tell them where we should belong is almost sometimes like it may not end up there, but we've always been trying to navigate that in the sense of we fit in the functional water space, which is a growing emerging category. So we're there as near the sports drinks, or we're there in the waters, which fits in coconut waters as well. So anywhere where people really are going to for some kind of still performance related hydration is the initial draw.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because it is so different of where you might find a Gatorade, for instance, versus whatever water brand.
Yeah.
So I wonder like how much that would have to change, or if it, I mean, I wonder if it tells as a customer, if I'm walking by, if it's by the Gatorades or it's by the waters, like that tells me personally something.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's something I'm always looking at, and we're always trying to navigate. I think it just depends on the retailer, and there's some stores that we're working on getting into that I want to be right by the sports drinks. Because we look so different, because we have a different ingredient, because we can be used for those drinks, that I want to be right there. And they want to offer other options. I mean,
Are you in this Whole Foods in Playa Vista?
We are approved for them. We're not currently on shelves in there because of the distribution change. So soon you'll be able to go grab it in there. Yeah.
That's our, he lives over by there.
And
I'm it's a mile from me where we are right now.
Absolutely. But you know the source, so you guys are good.
Yeah, right? Appreciate you. Deal. Yeah, sold. Yeah. How is it, because we've got our family biz. Tim and I have been working together for 9 years now in some capacity.
Yeah.
What's it like working with Pops and now brother?
Yeah. In the beginning.
Because it's different.
Yeah, in the beginning it was really difficult, to be honest. Yeah. It was harder than we both thought, because I have a really good relationship with my dad. He supported me, both my parents. My mom actually works with my dad. They have their other company that they have together. Okay. So I always saw that dynamic growing up, and so it just seemed normal. It seemed okay. And then the only problem that there was when we first started was the generational differences. That really is something real, especially in the workplace. And I had attended this one speaker series, and I had heard someone talk about generational differences in the workplace, and it was very eye-opening, but I still wasn't 100% sure on like how it applies to people that you're already close with. To a total stranger, it's how you can understand like why you guys are so different, but to someone you already know, and like I felt like that was different. Your whole life? Yeah, I felt like that was different. But I really saw it. I saw it in the real life form, and some examples that they had given that still stick with me is just like the baby boomer generation example. They're in their office, and they're working in their office, and like our generation, we come to want to meet with them. Well, if the door's open, we're just going to walk in. Like that's our nature. It's not rude. It's just because it's open. So that's what we feel as the invite, versus their generation is going to expect us to knock or ask or say, hey, can I come in? Or are you busy? And just that little change in dynamic would then create, some kind of mental trigger where they would then be irritated with us just to start off, right? Yeah. And we're just doing what we're doing. If we have to wait outside, then we're irritated, you know? So just understanding that took a little bit of time. That example didn't apply to my dad and I, but that's just to kind of for illustration purposes. Yeah. But there was other things that he had to kind of accept, that I wasn't just his little daughter anymore, you know? Your like partner. And that all sometimes my ideas would like be something that we would go with over his ideas. And
Dad doesn't know everything.
Exactly. His 30 years in business is great and is going to add value to our business, but is not going to be the be all end all, you know? Like,
you ever have to go to mom, be like, Mom, can you just settle this or what?
No, it never got that bad. And I think it was just, we need to learn our roles as well. So we were both doing everything. Like, I'm sure, you know, you guys.
Did you like sit down and say, all right, I'm going to do this, you're going to do this? Like that, did you guys have that conversation? We've never had that conversation.
Well, we had that conversation and it didn't do anything. It didn't work. Yeah. So it's like, you can't have that conversation unless I feel like you've like lived those responsibilities and like you've been able to grow into what those roles would be and what are. Just from the early stages when we would have like investor meetings, they would say, okay, who does what? Or who's going to make one question we had got one time was, who's going to make the final decision? And we both kind of looked at each other like, we're going to do it together. And they looked at us like, okay, you're stupid. You know, like, we'll see how this goes. You know, we'll see if this is really true.
So who does?
Well, it depends now. Because we've taken on our ownership over our roles, it really depends. So, you know, in certain areas, like, for example, in the marketing aspect of things, if it's something that, you know, we're torn on, I'll ultimately be the one that's able to make the decision. Okay. If it's something from like a production run standpoint where we got to tweak something or we're going to change something or add something, he's going to be the one that makes the final decision. So that's kind of like those just of two roles that we have of many. That's like one example of the breakdown. But so, but a lot of them we do together, we do collaboratively. That's the reason why I wanted to do that. And now I've been able to bring on some other partners and team members that are really bring such a diverse background and so much other experience that we can lend to them where, I'm the founder. I hate saying CEO because to me, it's just like, I don't want to just be fit into a title, you know what I mean? But obviously that is what it is. But all of our team members, like, if you know something better, then great, let's do that. Like, that's why you're here. You know, if I had all the answers, then you wouldn't need anyone, right? Yeah. So that's the reason why we have to have that collaborative effort. So that's
probably so not common though, especially in a small business. Yeah, where like you feel like you've got your hands in everything. If you had 250 people or 1,000 people, like of course you're delegating all the time, but people in small businesses, especially at the top, they want to know everything and do everything and don't want to have suggestions. Like, I'm running this. Like, we deal with a lot of small business people, and we've dealt with those people who we come with ideas and they're like, "Nah, I got this."
Well, like, see, that I can't even think like that. So for me, it's not part of who I am or who we are. Like, if someone else has a better idea or someone else is better at something, then go for it. Let's do it. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's good to be open to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
How do you anticipate change marketing wise or things you're doing in general? Do you do anything for holidays?
I was going to say, because you said you're going to focus on digital this year.
Yeah. But like, that's where I was going to go with it. And then I thought Black Friday, that kind of shit. Are you doing anything special for that?
Yeah. I mean, we're working on that. That's where I've actually brought in a couple other people to kind of help me with that because it's not necessarily, I have in my idea, like my vision for certain things, but some of the execution on that digital side is not my expertise. So I've been really working on the talent acquisition for that in the past 6 months and have found a couple cool people that are really going to, help TuMe go to the next level in that aspect. So really building out that timeline, really building out that calendar, and applying it so that way we hit it from email marketing to working with Amazon. So making sure that we're optimized on Amazon, doing some tweaks to our own website so that we're able to offer, we're going into having a subscription box. So that way going into a smaller pack size. So that way we can do some more things with getting it to people for that.
Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tell me anything else.
No, this is good.
This is great. Now I want to open it and drink it.
Yeah, you gotta
so
drink
these are
some.
ours. I'm taking pomegranate, Timmy. So suck
So
it.
Okay.
it's
I'm
business
taking-
and BS.
taking
Where
coconut.
what is the BS? Just that we're here chilling.
Yeah, we're
We
chilling.
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
BS a lot.
Yeah.
BS before, during, and after.
Yeah, I think why we came up with that name. I think somebody else came up with it. Actually, I don't know if we did.
Well, you did.
I had like somewhere
unless
like
this is breaking news that.
No, I
you
think it was
didn't
like
come up with the
business.
idea. What the
I think
fuck?
no, I think I kind of was like I'm thinking business and bullshit, but I don't know if I want to say shit. Like we say shit, fuck, we'll do that. But like in the actual name of it, I don't know if that's the move. And I think somebody else had business in BS. If I think of it, I think of it's our buddy Jack. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. But so like, and I wanted the vibe to be very conversational and not like, all right, I'm going to send you a list of questions, answer these questions, or be prepared for these questions. And we sit down, we'll ask you something, you'll speak back. I don't like that in my head. I don't like to hear those conversations. It feels very slow and boring. I want to hear like how you actually started this. And if we go somewhere else with it.
Yeah,
cool.
that's the BS part.
Yeah, you
We
got
can go anywhere.
That's the,
Got it.
yeah.
No, I love it. Well, because the reason why I ask is I'm starting a podcast actually.
Hey, let's go.
Are we breaking more news?
Yeah, breaking more news. You guys are getting all the tea.
I
You're getting all the
know,
news.
I know.
Jeez.
I almost every person we have in here, I say, start a podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I was looking at watching more of your interviews, and I saw that you did that.
I like
was
to say
okay.
conversation, not interviews, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. I'm not interviewing you.
Yeah.
It's an open conversation.
Yeah.
That's true.
Let's
That's
go.
true, and that's the format of mine as well. But
Dig
I
it.
just.
So what do you?
But
what's the
it's
focus?
the reason why I brought it up is because you were mentioning your name.
Yeah.
And more breaking news. It's called Real Shit with Shaina. So
Okay.
I
Yeah,
use the
dig it.
word
Okay.
in my
Ah.
name.
Will you put shit or make it
Mhm.
like an asterisk?
No, put it.
Real shit with Shaina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I like it.
Is there
So-
any? You do this. Is there any restrictions with like
I
iTunes
don't
or?
know. I don't know. But remember, our buddy, him and his lady have they call it the relation shit show.
Huh.
And he had an issue with it. I should ask
Yeah.
him just
Yeah.
to let you know.
And we got flagged at the beginning too because
Yeah. Well,
I think
I
we-
messed up. I
yeah.
didn't. This is our old podcast was current events. Last name
Yeah,
current.
yeah.
Current
Yeah.
Events.
Yeah.
And we did that for 8, and then we switched it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was I didn't click explicit. I'm
right.
sure we
that's
said
what it was.
Shit or something.
Yeah,
or
we,
fuck.
we cussed a few times.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's what that was.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what words should be allowed and what should be allowed. That's
Yeah,
another story.
absolutely.
But he did have an issue because of shit. And I don't know if it was in the title of it. I'll DM him when we're done here. Or if it was in his show notes or somewhere. Maybe he didn't check explicit on the thing either.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, make sure we'll
Just
find
FYI.
out.
Yeah.
I'll
So you don't
check
get
it.
red flagged.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
Right from the beginning.
he had to go through a whole shit ton
A shit-
things
shit
to
show.
fix it
Yeah.
because of shit.
I mean, if I have to, in the title, like,
it
put
might
the asterisk,
right.
I
It
don't
could just be.
care.
Yeah.
You can say shit
Yeah.
all damn day. You
Yeah.
just can't have
Yeah.
it. I think
Yeah.
was the thing.
Well, it's funny to me because I don't really cuss that often. But I was talking to someone about, and again, it stemmed from this conversational aspect of just wanting to have more conversations, and the conversations that I was having because I do all these events, because I meet all these people, and then even personally, my personal journey through it all, and you uncover so many different things about people that normally, unless you're vulnerable, they're not willing to necessarily share.
Yep.
You know, it's very surface conversation. And so that really was interesting to me, and I wanted to go deeper. And so I'm like, if I want to go deeper on this, then probably a lot of other people would want to hear it, right? Because on my own journey, I was searching for all of that, and I didn't necessarily find it all the time. Like, that's why I like the BS part of it too, is because, you know, when I was telling a few people that I was starting it, some of them that were potential subjects, even they were like, okay, what is it about basketball? And I was like, no. Okay, what is it about female entrepreneurship? I'm like, no. They're like, is it business? I was like, for me, I was like, no, not really. It's like about everything. It's like going deeper. Yeah, you're going to talk a little bit about what you do. That's natural. Just imagine you go to a party. You're going to meet someone. You're going to hopefully tell them what you do. That's just, I guess, how our culture is in a way.
It comes up at some point, right?
Yeah. And I don't see it as a bad thing. People see that as a bad thing, that when you ask someone, like, what are they doing? Like, that's just, like, the number one question. Like, people are more than that. Yes, they're more than that, but how you spend 8 hours of your day, like, that is a big portion of who you are,
it's
too.
half of what you are, right?
Yeah, exactly. So just kind of digging deeper into all of that and being open. There's certain themes that I want to address, but generally it's just really going every which way. And so someone else thought of the name and they're like, yeah, you should call it Real Shit with Shaina. And I was just like, yeah.
It flows off the tongue.
Yeah.
I dig it.
There
And
you go.
how are you? That's why we started ours.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're at events and stuff. Same thing us. We'd be videoing with a brand, working with you, and we have this cool conversation. And I just started, and blah 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 blah. And the same conversation we just had, we'd do it while we're doing video, and then it'd be gone.
Yeah.
So now, like, let's do it, save it, show other people, they can learn from it.
Right.
The same damn combo.
Exactly.
I like it. When you starting it?
I'm actually looking to launch it in January.
Boom.
I was gonna try and pump it out because I don't really feel like for things like that I could be totally wrong, but it's just like if it's good, there's no real time for it. I mean, you hear about companies that started during the Great Depression, like so. There's no real time. Always you can try and maximize and optimize, but I'm actually going out of the country, going back to Germany for a little trip in December. So I felt like if I'm not going to be here, that might not be the best starting point.
Yeah.
You know, I better wait till I'm actually here so I can pay more attention and be more closely to it.
Where would you have? Will you be in person?
In person. It's in person.
Good.
Yeah.
I
So
like
I've done already a couple sessions.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So want to kind of get a few recorded before putting it out there. But yeah, in person, you know, just conversation. And it's quite interesting how you guys incorporate video as well, because my initial thought was just to do it, you know, just voice, audio. Yeah. And then probably the same reason why you just said it should live someplace, you know, people should see it, might as well put it out there. And someone encouraged me that I should probably same reason, put the video out.
Do it if you can.
So,
social clips. And
becomes effort, but social clips, and it gives us a way. Like we'll take from this right here. It'll be anywhere from 3 to 7 clips. We'll take, cut, use on social, promote, and then we're able to give it to you, and then you'll post, and then like that's just how that all works. And then more people are finding out about it. And then we've got 10 million listeners an episode.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Or much less than that.
Mm-hmm.
But like like
that's right.
But and as I've said before on here too, like we don't have that many listeners. Let's say 10,000 over the last 6 months, something like that. Okay, but that's not nothing.
Yeah, of course not.
And we've gotten business from here. People who've come on have gotten business from here.
Yeah.
And it's like we'd love to have 10 million an episode. That'd be fucking great. It would change our life.
Right.
And our business would just be this.
Yeah.
There'd be no BS. It'd be right fucking
just business.
But there's still a ton of value in that for us, and I'm sure for you same thing. And it's
influence is influence, you know. If you're making an impact on one person, I mean, obviously from a business standpoint you have to look at different metrics, but from life, if you're making an impact on one person, it's worth it. That's how I believe, at least. Like, that's the reason why I still coach to this day. That's the reason why I want to start this podcast. It's all driven by like using any type of voice that you have to make an influence on even just one person. And usually that one person, it's more than that, you know, especially if you're really passionate about it and you're sharing things, that experiences that you've gone through or knowledge that you have, then that's going to go a long way. You know, it's something that it's what drives me. Like I have to think of a better name for it or better word for it. But, you know how there's like foodies, like I'm a people-y, you know, like, I mean, just in the sense of I like people, I like to help people.
Hear stories.
And it's weird to talk about it because it's not something that I think of often. It's just how I am. But I've have a few close friends that like have pointed it out to me. They're like, don't you get tired of just like meeting people and hearing their story or telling them your story or whatever? And I'm like, no, not really. Like, you know, I sometimes will need my own time, my own space to just decompress or just to be in my own thoughts or relax, unwind. But for the most part, like it's not something that tires me out. It's something that I enjoy. So.
Like you said, impact one person, even just selfishly. Like it's good to have a conversation with you. Like meet somebody new, talk to somebody new, and even after every podcast, I'm like, like I'm pumped about whatever, you know, whatever, and I'm re-energized just from sitting here having a conversation with a different person who's doing cool shit. Yeah,
I agree 100%. And you guys are pursuing your passions too, right? That's probably what drives you, and then you even have little ones, right? So I'm not there yet, so I have to fill more time with other things. So
time's different for us now.
I still have more buckets to fill up, you know.
Those events will be limited once you start knocking those kids out.
Or you've got a really good assistant.
True.
True. His daughter's 4 now, so she she could be there handing out.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought you guys would have had some coffee brewed though, you know.
Oh, you wanted some coffee?
Yeah.
Well, you came in with a coffee.
I know, but I put it over there because, you know.
Yeah, I see it over there.
Yeah.
That's on Pat.
That is on me. I could have definitely made you a coffee.
Yeah.
But you came in with the coffee.
As organic as this is, you know, you should have your coffee cups.
Yeah, deal.
That one person, you know.
Yeah.
I want to be able to drink it if I'm watching. I want to see, dang, do they like it or you know?
Yeah, I feel you. What if you don't like it?
Yeah.
It's just black coffee. I don't know how you couldn't like it. Yeah.
No, but then it's on video of her like putting it to the side, like, not drinking it the rest of the time.
We'll do an ad, quote unquote, ad read before about the coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We're always talking about the coffee too.
Yeah, no, I love that, but I just think that
she wants some damn coffee.
Obviously.
That's your bag.
This is yours.
Yeah, that's your.
Happy birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It says that. Oh, it's happy birthday.
No.
It's
just saying happy birthday to you. It's community coffee.
Oh, well, it's my mom's birthday today.
Happy birthday to mom.
That's why I was like, is that the flavor? I'm going to give it to mom.
So when we give you that, mom has to have at least one cup of it if she drinks coffee.
Yeah, she drinks coffee. I'll give her the whole bag and I'll have one cup.
Birthday. Fair enough. It's very unselfish of you. Well, cool. Real Shit with Shaina coming real soon. TuMe Water here right now. We're about to drink some. Shaina, we appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Again, use our code BS at ourcitycoffee.com. You'll get 15% off any and all coffee orders. You don't have to go to the store. You don't have to drink all that sugar shit at that corner coffee shop. Get some real good quality coffee. You're an adult. Step your game up. Again, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.